Okay, so we commencing 17th of November now. There is something basically जो हमने नोट करना है कि ये नॉर्मल वीक नहीं है जिस तरह होता है इसमें जो न्यूज़ की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है वो बड़ी awkward है फॉर एग्जांपल यू हैव ऑरेंज न्यूज़ on Monday, nothing on Tuesday, and वहाँ तक तो चीज़ें ठीक है but this is where it gets a bit tricky. Then you have Wednesday with FOMC, which is fine. The tricky part is Thursday. You have non-farm payroll on that, and it's also saying 1:30. It's not even tentative, which means that it might have then changed to its original day, which is Friday. So it's actually taking place on a Thursday. I mean, things have been a little bit weird in terms of calendars. News has not like been coming out on time. ऐसा भी हुआ कि चेंज हो गई है जो कि मैंने नॉर्मली होता हुआ तब नहीं देखा, इसलिए दिस इज़ अ बिट ऑफ अ कंसर्न क्योंकि इट्स बैड इनफ कि बड़ी न्यूज़ आ रही है उससे पहले ऑलरेडी हमें पता है कर्टेल होगी रेंज हाई रेजिस्टेंस आएगा काफ़ी. लेकिन नाउ टू हैव दिस, नॉर्मली हमारा रूल होता है कि बी डन बिफोर न्यूयॉर्क वेंसडे राइट, लेकिन टेक्निकली विद दिस बी डन बिफोर न्यूयॉर्क ट्यूसडे, because the day before FMC is a suspicious day. And it doesn't help the fact that it also happens to have FOMC. So if I was to expect a high resistance run, then it would definitely have to be 100%. I would expect it on a Wednesday. Maybe some of it will leak into Tuesday as well, actually. You never know, even Monday. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of uncertainty, which means there's elevated risks, which means that the need to follow the rules are even more greater than it would be otherwise. Not saying that it's any less significant to follow them anyway, but this just increases the duty to follow the risk management protocols even more. So मैं जल्दी से अपने नोट्स के ऊपर जाना चाहता हूँ, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं गुजारूंगा, लेकिन ये भी ज़रूरी है जो हमने सबक सीखे हैं. नॉर्मल हफ्तों में तो वैसे ही ज़रूरी है, और अभी जो एलिवेटेड हाई रिस्क इन्वायरमेंट है इसमें हमने केयरफुल रहना है. ओके ओके लेट्स सी. सो एग्जैक्टली काशिया में फॉलो करता था इस डे को, ये बड़ी अच्छी एडवाइस लिखी हुई ऑलरेडी. राइट ओके सो the last 2 weeks especially, the feedback that I got when going against the main order flow require a shift in market structure and multiple confirmations before you enter, because you don't know if it's definitely going against the order flow or fading it. It could not be fading it. It could look like it's fading it to inspire the sentiment to come in, but really it's just doing a very internal range run, which is also known as deferring the move basically to a next element of time, next macro. Also, wait for confirmation before re-entering after a stop out. This is a pro order flow trade. You've been taken out on the initial idea, but you still ain't convinced that your bias is wrong. You're just thinking, okay, yeah, but it's probably deferring it. Even with that thought procedure, you still have to wait for extra confirmation because again, it could just be deferring the move, and you don't want to be a part of. You don't want to be a machine gun. You want to be a sniper. You know, you are trying to be precise. You are trying to enter. If I'm trying to short, then I'm trying to enter at the sell side curve of the market maker sell model. I'm not trying to enter when it's trying to do a turtle soup high. I'm not going to short there because of course it's going to go high. I'm going to be stopped at. Why am I going to do that? I'm going to wait for the manipulation to be over. I don't want to be trading during it. I want to be trading right after the manipulation, as you saw on Thursday. So very, very key piece of advice there. Now I'll just quickly go over this again. Don't want to take too much time here. Um, Thursday, this is basically what I'm talking about. This is the manipulation. We made the mistake. Trade one is fine, okay? We don't know there's any manipulation that deep by then. Now we can reasonably expect one. So we should wait basically after the manipulation. This is after the manipulation. This is the 1029. This is technically where the entry should have been. And guess what? If you was to wait this one out and also demand extra confirmation of shift, i.e. here, because you're going against the main order flow, then by default, it wouldn't have given you that, meaning you would have then saved this trade, trade 2, trade 3, all that capital setting, all that psychology still fresh in your mind. You haven't run out of stamina, willingness, willpower, you know. And then you could easily take this. You can literally आंखें बंद करके ले लेता है. Imagine ये वाला ये loss नहीं हुआ. आंखें बंद करके मैं इसको ले लेता हूँ. Literally because it's a low to high. This is the turtle soup, and this is the MK2 entry here. By this point, you already know this high is in jeopardy and it's going to go all the way down. Okay, this is all manipulation. We're entering after the manipulation is over. So I've already spent enough time on this. I'm not going to drill on this now. So मुश्किल वीक है, ठीक है। बेसिकली मैं तो मैं ये क्या कहूँगा, मुश्किल वीक है, वो बी केयरफुल। आई डोंट वांट टू बी जनरल, मैं स्पेसिफिक एडवाइस दूंगा क्योंकि अब मैं उस स्टेज पे पहुंच गया कि मेरे पास स्पेसिफिक मालूमात है। बेसिकली अगर तू ऑर्डर फ्लो के अगेंस्ट आइडिया के जा रहा है, जो भी आइडिया है, ठीक है, समटाइम्स इट विल बी विद द हायर टाइम फ्रेम रिदम, अदर टाइम्स मे नॉट बी दैट, ठीक है ना। तो जो भी बेसिकली ऑर्डर फ्लो का आइडिया, क्योंकि रिमेंबर what you have the bias is all good and well, but it needs to be confirmed by the market. And the order flow, that's something I confirm with the market. So that will always take priority because it's a idea that you confirm. Yes, the bias still has a major key role because it's coming from the high time frame. I understand that, and it's even better that the order flow lines up with that. But what I'm trying to say is the order flow is if it's going against that bias, then yes, do take that because it's based on the actual behavior of what the price is doing, what side is preferring. Okay, so when you take an idea against the order flow, make sure that you extra demand get evidence. Shift in market structure is obviously a must, without question. And then even if it's high resistance or if it's low resistance, you can just take it at the shift in market structure. If it's high resistance, wait and see if it continues to close bodies. You can, yes, enter a small risk, okay, to test the waters out. I'm fine with that, okay, because that's basically saying in case it doesn't, then yes, you at least have something, right? But don't go in full risk is what I'm trying to say, okay? So that's going against the order flow. And obviously not doing that, and one, I'm simply expecting it to be a deferred move that's just high resistance, just doing a deep pullback to cast doubt in the minds of the on-site traders slash a deferred move, same thing pretty much. Again, wait for what? Wait for that price action I was showing you after the manipulation, okay? Very key. So that's that. And now let's just quickly go on the charts. Okay, that's good. So yeah, I want to be vigilant on Wednesday, pretty much every day, but even more so after Tuesday. I want to be really vigilant, even the evening of Tuesday, and then Wednesday as well, because FOMC is gonna suck up the range, so it's gonna not move as much before most likely. Again, market will confirm that. Thursday definitely nothing to do there for me. I don't start at 2:30, but even 2:30 I'll see because sometimes the effects can linger. We know the FOMC effects. I mean the non-farm payroll effect. So we're gonna have to wait for that, and then obviously Friday is a relatively normal day. Okay, relatively speaking, compared to these two, so that should be fine. Just have the news I think on the Friday. Yeah, 2:45. That's fine, and then obviously 10. Yeah, it's fine. Now, going to the hard time frame real quick. Start with a weekly chart. So again, last week से basically हम ये देख रहे हैं कि we've colored both sides of this volume imbalance on pretty much every time frame now. So if you start with a 1 hour real quick here, you'll see that the initial move here, sell side delivery, buy side delivery, then again sell side. Like there's just so many times it's already passed through. So that's on at least a 1 hour. As far as that's concerned, it's balanced. Okay. Again, daily sell side delivery here. Sorry, buy side delivery sells. So again, balanced. Weekly, again, you had a sell side delivery wick, you had a buy side delivery wick, but then obviously it closed lower. So that's another sell side piece of delivery. But it could have a million buy side, sell side after that. That's not the key thing is it needs to have a sell side and a buy side offered because it needs to efficiently deliver price, which it has. Went down, went up. So both sides are now covered. Sellers and buyers had an equal chance of participation there. So that's a market efficiency paradigm now. So that's out of the way. And again, we cannot ignore the fact that we closed on the weekly basis here, way below this. That's a good signal for a down move. I'm not picking a top. I'm just making a point. Okay. The order block mean threshold is another key piece of information that needs to be referred to. So the order block mean threshold, again, that's something that can be powerful if you have a daily body closing below it. That would lend itself well to a bearish idea. Again, this could be very easily just overlap the CB and just shift market structure here and then just take out so much buy side that's still up here. You have equal highs here as well lining up. Oh, sorry, ES. I mean, it's pretty much the same market structure to be honest, for the sake of complete completing it in perfection. I guess I need to have the right thing. So yeah, equal highs here. You can see weekly high perfect there. So you never know. I mean, with the amount of big events you have, I highly doubt we're just going to leave this out as it is. At least for a counterparty, if you're to go down even. But we don't know that yet. It's a volatile week. But gun to my head, okay. Looking at the structure, I mean, it is relatively clean here. You can see we've have respected this here. Wednesday, Friday is closing here, perfect. This week again closing here, good. Below the NVOG. So you have two NVOGs that we have now closed below. We also have two-sided delivery here as well, which is good. So reasonably again, classic AMD again that may not even come into play this week of because of the amount of news we have, but classic AMD would infer that we would read some level of buy side, engineer a bearish bullish sentiment. Um, we might even use this basic to rate this high here, and then obviously we could reasonably look for discount targets like this wick level. So the four quadrants here would now, I'd probably just use this. And then obviously I wanted to see it work deeper inside of these wick levels and this low eventually if it was to go there. So that's roughly the expectation.